What is up, my peepholes? This is your guy Cly, and welcome back to Budget Tubing. And today, I want to talk to you about the TONOR TC-777. A little while ago, TONOR reached out to me and asked if I wanted to review one of their latest microphones, and of course I said yes. Mainly due to the fact that I have a crippling microphone addiction. All joking aside, the real reason I said yes is just because I love checking out new-to-market, low-cost microphones because you never know, I might find a diamond in the rough that can give some of the more common and more expensive brands a run for their money. Now, as for this microphone, it is a USB condenser microphone with a cardioid pickup pattern, and it records at 44.1 kilohertz 16-bit, which sounds like another popular microphone that I'll be comparing this to later on in the video. And as of the recording of this video, it comes in at $42.99 on Amazon, though like everything on Amazon, that price does change from time to time. But for now, let's go ahead and crack this box open, shall we? In this package, you receive the microphone itself, a wind puff, a shock mount with a gooseneck adapter for a pop filter, the aforementioned pop filter, a tripod, the manual, and a warranty card. Now, to fit the fully assembled microphone and shock mount into frame, I did have to zoom my camera out a little bit, and as such, I apologize for the little bit of tripod you're going to see here, but that's the downside to using the homemade horizontal extension bar that I've got at the moment. I really need to invest in a proper one. And here we are. Now, as you can see, I have this in the same vertical orientation that TONOR shows on the box, the manual, and in all of the product photos for this microphone, and I have to thank them for that, because this is a side address microphone, and I've seen similar microphone kits that have the exact same shock mount, tripod, and pop filter combo, and all of their product photos are in an orientation like this. And what that means is you're going to be recording either the ceiling or your table, depending on which side the logo's facing. In this case, I'm going to be recording the table. That being said, I'm also not going to be using the orientation TONOR shows simply due to the fact that that doesn't work that well with the tripod setup, because you're going to have the microphone completely vertical for it to be pointing somewhat towards you, whereas I personally prefer a slightly reclined position. That way I'm also essentially using it in an off-axis position, and that can help mitigate plosives even if you're not using the pop filter or the much less effective wind puff. So in my case, it would be something more like this, where I have the TONOR logo facing away from the tripod, slightly reclined, and fortunately the gooseneck still allows me to get the pop filter exactly where I want it. But enough about the kit and the hardware. Let's get on to the audio test, shall we? And welcome to Audacity. Right now, what you're hearing is the audio from the TONOR TC-777. I currently have the digital gain for this microphone set to 60% on my computer, and I'm standing about 4 inches away to take advantage of the proximity effect. And as you can see, my average volume range for this recording is between -12 and -6 decibels. As for my capture settings, I'm using the recommended 44.1 kilohertz 16-bit. And for the curious, this is what I sound like about 1 foot away from the microphone. Of course, some of you are probably wondering how the audio from the TC-777 stacks up against some of the more common microphones on this platform. So, for the sake of comparison, this is what I sound like on the ever-popular Blue Snowball Ice, also known as one of the most common microphones on YouTube, which makes sense. It's a known brand, and you can pick one up for around $50. And for the curious, it pretty much has the same specifications as the TONOR SC777. As for this recording, I currently have the microphone set at 100% digital gain on my computer, and I'm about 4 inches or so away from the microphone in order to take advantage of the proximity effect. As such, it seems the average volume range for this part of the recording is around -12 to -6 decibels, sometimes going ever so slightly beyond that. And for curiosity's sake, this is what I sound like when I'm about 1 foot away from the Blue Snowball Ice. And before I go back to camera, here I am again on the TC-777. As you saw, the Blue Snowball Ice actually required me to put the digital gain up to 100% in order to hit this volume range. And that means that I've got a lot of flexibility when it comes to where I can place the TC-777 and still get a very reasonable volume. Of course, I'm probably not going to be taking advantage of that, simply due to the fact that I love the sound of the proximity effect. Also, all of this audio has been completely unaltered. I've not done any kind of equalization, compression, noise removal, or anything like that, despite the fact that I do that on all of the audio that I use in my videos. If you're wondering how the TC-777 would sound if I applied those filters, this is it. And here's what the same effects sound like when applied to the audio from the Blue Snowball Ice. And back to the hardware. Now, I don't know if it came through in the video due to YouTube's compression, but to my ears, this microphone sounded very similar to the Blue Snowball Ice, which makes sense due to the fact that they both record at 44.1 kHz 16-bit. However, I will admit the Blue Snowball Ice did sound a little bit richer due to the fact that it has a frequency response rated from 40 Hz all the way up to 18 kHz, whereas this one responds from 100 Hz to 16 kHz. However, the differences are very minimal, and the price difference kind of makes up for it, especially due to the fact that my standard audio adjustments pretty much negate all of the differences. As an added bonus, it comes with all of those accessories for a lower price. In the case of the Blue Snowball Ice, all you really get is a tripod like this. Now, this is not the original Blue Snowball Ice tripod due to the fact that I bought my Blue Snowball Ice used and in an as-is condition, which I'll talk more about in a second, but still, for $50, all you get is the microphone, a tripod, and the USB cable, whereas the TC-777 comes with the tripod, shock mount, and pop filter combo. And adding to the factors that put this ahead of the Snowball in my opinion is the fact that I could store it in a standard microphone bag, whereas the Snowball Ice needs something a little bit more specialized if you don't want a huge lump. I can even put it in one of the padded bags that I made out of stuff from the dollar store. And let's not forget the fact that this profile makes it compatible with many more microphone accessories. With the Snowball Ice, all you really have is the 5/8 of an inch connector at the bottom, which means you're either going to be mounting it directly to the mic stand, or you have to use one of Blue's specialized and kind of proprietary mounts, especially if you want a shock mount. But the TC-777 not only comes with its own shock mount, and works with most of the other shock mounts of that style that I've tried, but it also gets along with my universal microphone holders. All of that being said, I do have two main complaints when it comes to the TONOR TC-777. The first of which is that it records at 44.116, whereas I prefer recording at a minimum of 4816. However, that's an issue also shared by the Blue Snowball Ice. My other much more minor complaint is the fact that it has an integrated USB cable. This thing does not come off, and that means that when you store this in a microphone bag, the USB plug has a chance of scratching the microphone. However, caps of those plugs are very easy to find. The other downside with it being an integrated cable is if something happens to the cable, your microphone is pretty much out of luck unless you know how to disassemble and solder the dang thing. In fact, that used to be a huge hang-up for me. Until I started ordering microphones to use as exemplars in these review videos, and I realized something. Yes, it is convenient to be able to detach and reattach a USB cable, but the USB port is a huge failure point. Case in point, this Blue Snowball Ice right here. I paid a whopping $12 for it because the USB port was broken. The same can be said for my original Blue Snowball, both my Yeti and Yeti Pro, and even an Audio-Technica ATR 2100. I bought all of these microphones to use as exemplars in videos, and each and every one of them was sold in as-is condition with a broken USB port. I have not had that many issues when it comes to integrated cables. So taking all of that into account, I definitely think the TC-777 is worth checking out if you want a lower cost alternative to the Blue Snowball and the Blue Snowball Ice, especially if you don't want to go out of your way to pick up all of the different included accessories. Because shock mounts, tripods, and pop filters definitely add up. And I forgot to mention one other advantage the Blue Snowball and Blue Snowball Ice have, and that's the fact that they're available in different colors. If that matters to you. It doesn't in my case. If this video got your attention, I'm gonna go ahead and put an affiliate link for the TC-777 down in the description below. And on that note, this is your guy Cly signing off.